Beneath forests, fields, gardens, and farmlands lies a world rarely seen and even less understood. It is a realm without sunlight, where sound travels through soil rather than air, and survival depends not on vision but on touch, vibration, and instinct. Within this hidden domain lives the mole, a mammal so completely adapted to underground existence that life above the surface feels almost foreign to it. The evolutionary path of the mole is a story of radical specialization. While many mammals evolved to see farther, run faster, or climb higher, the mole went in the opposite direction. Generation after generation, it adapted to darkness, pressure, and confinement. Eyes became smaller, not because sight lost value entirely, but because vision offered diminishing returns underground. Energy was redirected toward traits that mattered more: powerful forelimbs, heightened tactile sensitivity, and an extraordinary sense of spatial awareness. The mole's body reflects this purpose-driven evolution. Short, cylindrical, and compact, it moves through soil like a living drill. Its shoulders are massive relative to its size, anchoring forelimbs shaped not for speed, but for force. The front paws are broad, rotated outward, and armed with thick claws capable of displacing soil with remarkable efficiency. Each movement is economical, each push calculated to minimize resistance and maximize progress. Its fur grows in all directions rather than lying flat, allowing the mole to move forward or backward through tunnels without resistance. This detail, seemingly minor, is a critical adaptation in an environment where turning around is often impossible. The mole does not retreat, it reverses seamlessly, maintaining momentum in spaces barely wider than its own body. Though often described as blind, the mole is not truly sightless. Its eyes can detect light and darkness, enough to sense when it has accidentally surfaced. But sight plays a secondary role. Instead, the mole's perception of the world is built through touch. Specialized sensory receptors in its snout detect vibrations, pressure changes, and subtle movements in the soil. To the mole, the ground is alive with information. The underground habitat is not a single tunnel but a complex, multi-layered network. Permanent tunnels serve as highways, connecting feeding areas, nesting chambers, and escape routes. Temporary tunnels branch outward in search of food, collapsing behind the mole as it moves on. This constant excavation reshapes the soil, aerating it, mixing nutrients, and influencing plant growth above, often without any visible sign of the architect below. Diet defines much of the mole's relentless activity. As an insectivore, it feeds primarily on earthworms, insects, and larvae. These prey items are scattered and unpredictable, requiring constant movement to locate sufficient food. The mole's metabolism is high, demanding frequent feeding. Hunger is not an occasional inconvenience, it is a constant pressure driving endless motion through darkness. Unlike many surface-dwelling mammals, the mole experiences little variation in its environment. Underground temperatures remain relatively stable, shielding it from extreme heat and cold. Yet this stability comes at a cost. Oxygen levels are lower, and carbon dioxide can accumulate. The mole's blood chemistry and lung capacity are adapted to tolerate these conditions, allowing it to function where others would suffocate. Social interaction is minimal. Moles are solitary by nature, each individual maintaining its own tunnel system. Encounters with others are brief and often aggressive, except during the narrow breeding season. Solitude reduces competition for food and prevents tunnel systems from becoming overcrowded. In the underground world, space and resources are finite, and efficiency leaves little room for coexistence. From above, the mole is often misunderstood, labeled as a pest due to the mounds of soil it pushes to the surface. Yet these signs of activity represent a vital ecological function. By loosening compacted soil, the mole improves water infiltration, root growth, and microbial activity. Its presence beneath fields and forests supports life above in ways rarely acknowledged. The mole does not seek attention. It does not display, migrate, or vocalize loudly. Its existence is defined by persistence rather than spectacle. Every tunnel carved, every insect consumed, every vibration sensed contributes to a quiet, continuous process that has shaped landscapes for millions of years. In the darkness below, where sight is useless and silence is absolute, the mole moves with certainty. It does not need to see the world to understand it. For the mole, the earth itself is a map, and every grain of soil tells a story of survival written without light. Life underground demands a different understanding of space, time, and movement. For the mole, the soil is not an obstacle but a medium, something to be read, shaped, and navigated with constant awareness. Each tunnel is both a path and a sensor, carrying vibrations that signal prey, danger, or intrusion. The mole does not wander blindly, it interprets the earth as a living surface layered with meaning. Tunnel construction is the core of the mole's existence. Its claws function like tools refined through millions of years of trial and error. With rhythmic, powerful strokes, the mole displaces soil sideways and backward, compacting tunnel walls as it advances. This compaction prevents collapse while conserving energy, allowing tunnels to remain stable for long periods. In this way, the mole becomes an underground engineer, shaping a private world of corridors and chambers invisible from above. These tunnel systems are not random. Feeding tunnels are often shallow, following the movement of earthworms near the surface. Deeper tunnels provide protection, nesting areas, and thermal stability. Some chambers are used for resting, others for storing food. Earthworms, once captured, may be immobilized and stored alive, ensuring a future food supply. This behavior reflects foresight rarely associated with small mammals. Hunting underground requires a different strategy than surface predation. There is no chase, no visual targeting. Instead, the mole detects minute vibrations transmitted through soil particles. A single movement from an earthworm can trigger an immediate response. The mole lunges with precision, using its sensitive snout to locate and secure prey before it can escape deeper into the ground. The mole's metabolism is relentless. Unlike animals that can afford long periods of rest between meals, the mole must feed frequently. Energy demands are constant, driven by continuous digging and the need to maintain body temperature. This pressure leaves little room for error. A mole that fails to find food within hours may not survive. As a result, its life is defined by motion, an endless cycle of digging, feeding, and sensing. Breathing underground presents another challenge. Oxygen levels fluctuate, and carbon dioxide can accumulate in enclosed spaces. The mole's physiology compensates with blood capable of binding oxygen efficiently, even in low concentrations. Its tolerance for carbon dioxide surpasses that of many mammals, allowing it to function in environments that would quickly overwhelm others. These adaptations do not make underground life easy, they make it possible. Despite its intense activity, the mole remains almost entirely solitary. Each individual maintains exclusive control over its tunnel system. Encounters with others are rare and often hostile. During the breeding season, this isolation briefly dissolves, but cooperation never follows. Once mating concludes, separation is immediate. The underground world offers no surplus resources for shared living. Young moles are born in protected nesting chambers, blind and hairless, dependent on their mother for warmth and nourishment. Development is rapid. Within weeks, their claws strengthen, senses sharpen, and instinct takes over. By the time they leave the nest, they are already capable diggers, prepared to claim their own territory or perish in the attempt. Above ground, signs of mole activity appear as small mounds of soil, often misunderstood as damage. Yet these disturbances represent an essential ecological process. By loosening compacted soil, the mole improves aeration and drainage. Nutrients are redistributed, microorganisms flourish, and plant roots gain access to oxygen and water. Entire ecosystems benefit from this unseen labor. The mole does not shape the land intentionally. It follows hunger, instinct, and survival. The impact it leaves behind is a consequence rather than a goal. This unintentional influence is one of nature's quiet efficiencies, where individual survival aligns with broader ecological health. As time passes underground, the mole continues its endless construction, extending tunnels, abandoning old routes, and adapting to subtle changes in soil composition and moisture. Floods may force temporary retreats. Drought may push feeding tunnels deeper. Yet the mole responds without hesitation, adjusting its architecture as conditions demand. In this world without light, awareness replaces vision. Sensation replaces sight. The mole exists in a reality defined by contact rather than observation, by pressure rather than perspective. It is a reminder that intelligence and adaptation do not require visibility, only responsiveness. Above the surface, the world is loud, exposed, and constantly changing. Below it, the mole continues its existence in near-perfect isolation, guided not by sight but by pressure, vibration, and memory. While seasons pass unnoticed underground, subtle signals still reach the tunnels. Moisture levels shift, soil density changes, the availability of prey rises and falls. The mole responds to these signals instantly, not through conscious planning, but through instincts refined by millions of years of subterranean survival. Human activity introduces disturbances the mole cannot predict. Heavy machinery compresses soil beyond usability. Chemical treatments reduce insect populations, turning once rich feeding tunnels into empty corridors. Urban expansion seals the ground beneath concrete, erasing entire underground networks in silence. These changes rarely announce themselves dramatically, they arrive gradually, fragmenting habitats until movement becomes impossible. Yet the mole does not resist change in the way surface animals do. It does not flee across landscapes or seek distant refuges. Its response is local and immediate. It digs deeper, it redirects tunnels, it abandons failing systems and builds new ones where conditions allow. Survival for the mole has never depended on permanence, only on adaptability. In many ecosystems, the disappearance of moles brings unintended consequences. Soil becomes compacted, drainage worsens, root systems struggle for oxygen. Insect populations shift unpredictably. These effects are often misattributed to other causes, while the absence of the underground engineer goes unnoticed. The mole's influence is felt most strongly when it is gone. Culturally, the mole has long been misunderstood. Hidden from view, it is associated with blindness, secrecy, or damage. In reality, it represents one of nature's most efficient solutions to life in extreme conditions. Where light is useless, it perfected touch. Where space is limited, it eliminated waste. Where visibility is absent, it replaced observation with awareness. The mole's life offers no spectacle. There are no migrations to film, no dramatic chases across open plains. Its story unfolds entirely beneath our feet, measured in centimeters rather than kilometers, in vibrations rather than sound. Yet within this confined world, the mole demonstrates a level of specialization unmatched by most mammals. Its existence challenges the assumption that progress means expansion or visibility. The mole thrives by narrowing its world, mastering a single environment so completely that alternatives become unnecessary. It does not adapt to many worlds, it perfects one. As tunnels age and collapse, new ones replace them. As prey disappears, the mole moves on. Nothing is permanent underground, and permanence is not required. What matters is continuity, the unbroken chain of motion that keeps the mole alive from moment to moment. In the darkness below forests and fields, while human life unfolds unaware above, the mole continues its work. Claws press into soil, tunnels extend forward, the earth shifts, breathes, and settles behind it. There is no witness, no record, no applause. Only function. The story of the mole is a reminder that some of nature's most important processes occur beyond our sight. That survival does not always announce itself. And that beneath the surface of the familiar world lies another reality, shaped not by light or speed, but by persistence, precision, and an intimate understanding of the ground itself. When the surface falls silent at night, the mole does not sleep. It moves, and in that movement, landscapes are quietly sustained, one tunnel at a time.